Is this thing working? All right, I think it's on. What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your time and consideration for clicking on this video. What I'm gonna get into today is gonna be a bunch of topics surrounding gender and just like everything that goes on with us as humans. So, first and foremost, if you were identify as anything else besides male or female, this video may or may not be for you. But if you stick around, I feel like you'll learn something. So just hear me out. The double standards on things, crazy, actually crazy. And I know women deal with it a lot more than men do, but there's certain things too. There's just certain random things too that we would do that aren't socially acceptable, like crop tops. You'll never catch me in a crop top, but when I used to wear them when I work out, it was very comfortable. You could breathe more. It's a nice feeling. Certain things, I mean, like compliments, like you can't even compliment people nowadays. Like it's considered glazing. It's considered like, why don't you do that shit then? You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like it's a weird call out thing socially, at least between guys. Fashion for sure. I know I already talked about the crop top thing, but definitely fashion. I feel like there's a lot of things that men could sport that they don't, as well as women. Just because of certain things, you know. I don't know. The whole point of this whole video is that things are subjective, and it really just depends on your thoughts and views on how you want to do something, and if you have the confidence to do it or not. So go out and do it. It could be good, it could be bad, but regardless, you tried, and you'll never have that regret of I wish I did this or I wish I tried that. So go explore. The habits. I think the habits is an interesting topic. Habits, it could be how you use your time. It could be how you go about your life. It could be about even hygiene, just very simple little things, cooking, everything. I feel like a lot of guys aren't as cleanly because we've been put into that role of like, you're a worker, you provide, you do things physically, you give back to the world that you've been nurturing off of all your life. I don't want to say sucking the life out of, it's a little grim, but you know what I mean. Like, and I feel like for women, and it kind of sucks. By kind of, I mean it does suck in a lot of ways, but it's also beautiful. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself, but for women, it's like you were conceived, you were brought into this world, and now you're told that you need to do the exact same thing. You're told that you need to take care of a little version of you and somebody else, because that's what God intended, I guess. You have this certain feeling and responsibility that this is your duty. A lot of these things are gonna be in quotes. I'm not gonna always do air quotes. I'm sorry. I'm not. This whole video is subjective, but and my thoughts and opinions, mine, no one else's. So we're just different people. But I feel like once they're given that that thought in their head or that role or idea, the world becomes really scary really fast. You grow up, you start developing faster than people, you start thinking you're smarter than people, you start thinking you deserve more, you start thinking that you're above certain things, you start thinking that there's a lot of things that just should be catered toward you and your will and what it is that you desire. Not everybody's like that, but I've seen it. Like, it's a developmental thing. And I think I think it's kind of whack, like for a lot of guys, whether the sex they have is intimate or not, it's a lot of like I guess a crude term is like pump and dump. You Netflix and chilled, and then you just skedaddled. You didn't even lay up or whatever. So there's two different feelings, especially post nut. I feel like post nut's definitely different. I mean, women might have the same thing, but I don't know. For me personally, as soon as like I'm done, I think to myself like, damn, how do I protect this person? How do I keep this person in my life? How do I better myself? How do I better, my future? How do I go about my life after this moment? I feel like for guys, it's a lot of time of like self-reflection, and sometimes we do need to be alone. A lot of guys don't know how to handle their emotions, let alone somebody else's. So when topics are brought up like, what are we? Where do you see this going? Even goofy shit like, what do you think? There's a lot of different things that go into consideration when it comes to this stuff. And I'll be honest, I haven't handled a lot of it well. I handled a good amount of it well, but like definitely not all of it. No one's perfect. I don't know, it bothers me. It just really bothers me, like the social norms that we have for everything it is that we're doing. It has worked in the past, I get that, but I don't know. All of my life, I've seen everyone as just like human. And, people make mistakes. People fall into stereotypes. People, whatever. Everyone has their own evils, their own vices. But for the most part, I've seen most of everybody as human. I don't think about their race. I don't think about, their gender, all this other crap. I base them upon their actions and their willingness to change. So, why can't we just hear people out? It's for real. Like, if my neighbor had a problem with me, I'd want them to come over and tell me about it and, hey, help me correct the mistake. I wouldn't want to keep doing something that, made them uncomfortable or made them upset or anything like that. And it's not because I'm a bitch and I'm going to do what I want to do or whatever the fuck. It's because that's how you build trust. It eases your anxiety that's around you. It eases any uncertainty or fucking psychosis or hypnomania you got going on up here, where you just make up situations that don't exist. And everyone does that. The brain is just based off of things that are collected memories, and that's a whole other topic for a different day. But my point being is that if we just hear out some people's needs, we could satisfy everybody. I mean, that's obviously ideal and it's not realistic, but you could try. Like, let's say you like drinking after work. I get it. I do. A cold one after a hard day is a great feeling. But, maybe they need something done that they couldn't do while you were gone. Maybe they had something on their mind all day that's really been, bogging them down. And instead of drinking like you're doing, they just want to talk about it. You need to be able to talk to people. You need to be able to actually get out there and interact with somebody who isn't yourself. And it doesn't need to go right. It doesn't need to go perfect. You don't need to get them in bed or anything. You don't need a number. You just need to make sure that you are being heard and you're hearing them. That's all. I feel like everyone questions what it's like to just be their self. And it's a topic all of us struggle with. But I genuinely think that the first step to becoming confident, to just becoming your true self, and into just being an individual, you have to let a lot of shit go. Straight up. Anything, man. Self-doubt, bitterness, disdain, hate, unhealthy joy. Like, you need to be willing to change and give a lot of things up. And you don't need to suffer to succeed. And you don't need to suffer to be happy. You just need to be able to roll with the punches. And you need to be able to adapt. because that's how you survive, and that's how you spread your genes.